There'd be little argument from most fair-minded Australians. Opposition leader Anthony Albanese is a nice enough bloke. But where the discussion might heat up is over whether he has the ticker to take on the top job. Until now, it's been difficult to tell because Albanese's main strategy to win the soon-to-be-called federal election seems to be to let the increasingly unpopular Scott Morrison lose it. And in all likelihood, being a small target is working. Tonight, though, the real Albo emerges from the shadows.
When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's amore.
Tucked away in a quiet corner at his local Italian in Sydney's Leichhardt.
Well, cheers.
Future Prime Minister of Australia.
Oh, there you go.
Some good old-fashioned mates are cutting through the political spin to give their verdict on the new Albo.
What do you think of his makeover?
Well, I think it's fantastic. Well, I knew him before the makeover.
When he was DJing?
Yeah, well, DJing, going to bands, and many sessions in the pub.
Yeah.
I won't say he's got boring.
Albo's got boring, is that right?
I didn't say that.
Maybe that's the casualty when you drop a massive 18 kilos. But there's still a lot of amore for the bloke called Albanese.
I think he's a man of great integrity, and I think he's going to do a fantastic job as Prime Minister.
59 just a couple of days ago, and there is no denying Albo looks $1 million. But it comes at a cost. You can't have your Italian cake and eat it too.
You can only look, you can't touch.
I can't. Now you're just playing with me.
So go on. What did you wish for?
You know what I wish for, Carl. But if I say it, then it won't come true.
Oh, come on, Albo. Just say it.
It's too important. It's too important.
Setting a cracking pace these days.
It's been a carefully crafted makeover. The dramatic weight loss, new specs, new suits. It's all very, well, prime ministerial. You'd almost need glasses to recognise the Albo 2.0.
You look like John Curtin. A wartime Prime Minister.
Well, fashion, if you just hold on to it for long enough, it comes back.
If his transformation actually works, this could be Australia's next Prime Minister. This is the mother of all, as the kids say, glow-ups. I barely recognise... Do you know what a glow-up means?
Yeah, I do.
I mean, what's happened to you?
I'm hungry.
Literally hungry.
I'm hungry, I want to be match fit. And the other thing that happened, of course, is almost dying last year in a car accident.
Opposition leader Anthony Albanese has been taken to hospital by...
The collision in January 2021 spurred on all the changes. Did you think you were going to die?
Absolutely. It was an extraordinary moment where it was just factual. This is how it ends.
Sounds like it really shaped you.
It made me absolutely determined to make a contribution to the country. This is all part of the housing.
To understand the real Albo, his mates say you need to understand his roots.
It was all industrial around here. And this street down here was where you learnt how to ride a bike, ride a skateboard, and you had to take this corner here.
Right.
And the relationship he had with one of his greatest loves, his mother, Marianne.
My mum was born here
Yeah.
and died here, 65 years. I put that on the wall, the number.
You screwed them in.
The number.
Yeah.
He grew up in Camperdown in Sydney's inner west. His was a tough upbringing. Raised in council housing, the only child of a single mum who survived on the disability pension. Every cent mattered.
What do you reckon she'd think about her son running for the top job in Australia?
Oh, she'd be proud as punch. She's one of those women who sacrificed a lot for her child.
Do you think about her in that way, and that you're now maybe only within a couple of months of being the Prime Minister of Australia?
She was really grounded. She listened to talkback radio. She didn't have much formal education. She followed what was going on in the world and...
She almost sounds liberal.
No.
Sorry.
She was born Labor. Born Labor.
What do you miss most about her?
I just miss her love. You're coming down?
But
Yeah.
there was a remarkable twist in what Albo believed was his life story. Until he was 14, he always thought his father, Carlos Albanese, had been killed in a car accident when he was a baby. But it was all a lie. Carlos was actually living in Italy. Marianne had had a whirlwind romance abroad. When she returned to Australia, she was single, pregnant, and Catholic in the 1960s.
It was really quite traumatic for her. I think it was really important for my mother that I respond the way that I did, that she needed to hear from me that she was enough, that it wasn't inadequate, I wasn't searching for something more.
But after his mother died, Albo decided to look for his dad. And in 2009, he went to Italy to find him.
What was that like?
I was 46 years of age. I'd lived with this by then for more than 30 years, the knowledge that my father might be alive. I still didn't know at that point. We just had an address.
You met him.
I did.
How was that for you?
He put out his arms and we embraced. It was quite extraordinary because at that point in time, I wasn't sure if he was going to walk in and say, you know, I met your mother, but I have no idea, you know, how you came about. I didn't have relations with her, but there was none of that. Yeah.
He died?
He died in 2014, so the last thing he said to me was, I'm glad I found you.
The trauma of losing his parents was profound, as was the heartbreak he felt 3 years ago when his marriage ended. Anthony and his ex-wife, Carmel Tebbit, had been together for 30 years when he says, out of the blue, she told him their relationship was over.
It was a difficult time for me. Carmel left in 2019 on New Year's Day. She made that decision.
What was the hardest thing?
I didn't want the marriage to end, and I didn't see it as ending. We'd spent Christmas together. I thought we would end our life together. That was the vision that I had. That was really difficult to come to terms with.
It's taken time, but Anthony Albanese has found new love. 43-year-old Jodie Hayden.
She reached out, she pursued you.
Can
you believe it?
We were at a conference. I said, there's got to be one South Sydney person out there. And she yelled out. I met her then, and then we met up for a drink. Early stages, but it's a nice relationship.
You in love, Albo?
Oh, that's something not for you, Carl. That's something between me and Jodie.
The reality is there isn't much room for privacy in the top job. For a politician who likes to talk, Albo is very shy about giving too much away about his personal life.
It's hard enough running into a relationship and trying to make it work, let alone your partner looking at becoming Prime Minister.
Yeah, it's something I'm protective of. You know, I'm the one running for public office. You know, Jodie has to put up with, if we're out at having dinner, put up with people coming up and photos and all of that. But it's part of the deal. It's part of who I am.
She also has to decide whether or when she goes public. I mean, does she stand up if you win with you and hold your hand up in the air?
From Leichhardt to Launceston, Anthony Albanese is hitting the hustings. He's a man on a mission, determined to make his mark after the COVID lockdown had largely silenced him.
Thank you.
Nice to see you. We had 2 years of the pandemic. They had 2 years of the Prime Minister commanding all the attention. How do you cut through that?
We just had to stay engaged during that period, be constructive, not not engage in negative politics. And that was difficult.
Were you worried, though, about not getting any oxygen during that period?
You're a hostage to circumstances beyond your control.
He looks terrific.
Yeah.
What he's rediscovering is the reality of campaigning. It brings out the good, the bad, and the blunt.
What do you think of the election coming up?
I'm right here.
No comment.
People are brutal, aren't they, on the road? What's wrong with Albo?
You're looking good, yeah.
Thank you.
You've lost weight, yeah, hasn't it? Yeah.
Huh?
Good on you. I'm big in Lonnie.
Aren't you?
And we've heard stories.
Marginal seats like this one, Bass on the northeast coast of Tasmania, are crucial. Albo badly wants to win it.
It's good to get out and about, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'll have a 4X.
Well, we'll take a 1X off. It's now a 3X.
Cheers, mate. Thank you. Cheers, my friend.
Bug's red, it's
Come over here.
Over a beer with the wannabe PM, Albo can't wait to take a swipe at ScoMo.
I think people are far more cynical about our opponents this time round. They know what Scott Morrison's form is, and therefore they'll be more sceptical about what the government's saying. You look at even the photo ops this time, whether it's shampooing hair or whether it's, dare I say it, the ukulele playing, or worse still...
What's wrong with that?
I've seen it and heard it, and then now it can't be unseen, unfortunately. How long do you wait people?
I've been here 20 odd years.
There mightn't be any babies to kiss here, but no campaigning would be complete without a visit to a brewery. It brings back memories of a Labor hero whose success Anthony would love to copy.
I wonder, with Bob Hawke, I mean, what it was like back in the day. Darting, the boozing, the complete and utter commitment to sexual impropriety. I mean, do you share any vices with Bob Hawke?
Hawkey was a great bloke, and he was a great mentor of mine.
With the greatest respect, you are not answering the question. Do you share any vices?
No, I'm a pretty straightforward bloke, and I've never had a cigarette in my life. I've had the odd beer, or two, or three, or four, it must be said. Well, I've got my own beer named after me, mate, so...
It's very hawky.
The criticism is that Anthony Albanese is running for Prime Minister and he's being wrapped in cotton wool. His people are trying to protect from any kind of mess up in the weeks leading up to an election exposure for Albanese.
Well, here we are, Carl, doing 60 Minutes. And people mightn't always agree with me, but what you see is what you get. Scott Morrison's got an issue with the truth.
You honestly think Scott Morrison's a liar?
Well, he has said things to me that are simply untrue. He stood up in Parliament. Why he did it is beyond me, and said that he texted me about where he was going when he went to Hawaii. That's not true.
But if Albo is going to bring up the past, it's only right he also remembers his own party's self-destructive flaws.
Why does Labor stuff it up so much? Why does it find it so hard to get into government and stay for any length of time?
We're the party of big ideas, and we can sometimes, I think, be impatient about changing the world quickly. We did some good things, but many of what we did, many of the things were dismantled, and you need that long-term government.
What gives you the arrogance to think that you can change all of that?
No, the experience. The experience. I've seen the mistakes that were made. I was a part of the Rudd-Gillard government. I don't blame anyone else. And learning from that, just like we learnt from the 2016 and 2019 defeats.
It is obvious that Labor will not be able to form the next government.
The shock election result 3 years ago explains a lot about Anthony Albanese today. He doesn't want to make any mistakes, so every public move is highly choreographed. But you'd think, being so far ahead in the polls, he has thought, at least a tiny bit, about victory and celebrating it with family and special friends.
Does she stand up if you win with you and hold your hand up in the air?
Oh, she'll be there on election night, I'm absolutely certain. And I'm hungry to win. But one thing's certain, I won't leave anything on the field. I will work until 6 o'clock on what I suspect will be the 14th of May, but we'll wait and see. You heard it here first. I suspect that's when polling day is. And then we'll see what comes. But I hope that I receive the faith of the Australian people, and if I do, I won't let them down.
And if you don't?
If I don't, well, that will be a decision that you've got to respect.
Hello, I'm Sarah Abo. Thanks for watching 60 Minutes Australia. Subscribe to our channel now for brand new stories and exclusive clips every week. And don't miss out on our Extra Minutes segments and full episodes of 60 Minutes on 9now.com.au and the 9Now app.